I never intended for it to happen. I never meant to hurt anyone, let alone my sister, the person I loved and admired more than anyone else in this world. But sometimes, life has a way of making us face the consequences of our actions when we least expect it. And for me, those consequences were more painful than anything I could have imagined. It all started innocently enough, or at least, it seemed innocent at the time. I had always been close to my sister, Rachel. We were inseparable growing up, sharing secrets, clothes, and dreams of the future. She had always been the stable one, the one who had her life figured out, while I was the younger, more impulsive one, always struggling to find my way. When Rachel married Adam, her college sweetheart, I couldn't have been happier for her. He was kind, thoughtful, and always treated her with the respect and care she deserved. They seemed perfect together, but little did I know, my own feelings for Adam were about to spiral out of control. At first, I never thought of Adam in any other way than as my sister's husband. I respected their marriage, and I admired their relationship. But the longer I spent around them, the more I started to notice things. There were small moments when Adam and I would talk, just the two of us, and I found myself drawn to him in a way that I couldn't explain. His warmth, his understanding, the way he seemed to always know what to say when I was struggling with something, all of it made me feel something I never should have felt. I told myself it was harmless. He was just being friendly. He was being supportive, as a brother-in-law would be. But deep down, I knew something was happening that shouldn't have been. The moments of quiet conversation turned into longer chats, and those chats became more personal. I began to confide in Adam about my life, my struggles, my dreams, the insecurities I had always carried but never shared with anyone else. Adam listened patiently, always offering advice, always making me feel like I mattered. It wasn't long before I started to look forward to those moments when it was just the two of us, when I could feel seen and heard in a way I hadn't experienced in a long time. But it wasn't just that. I realized I was starting to crave his attention. I was becoming addicted to the way he made me feel, important, valued, understood. The line between what was appropriate and what was not became blurred. The worst part, I could see the way Rachel trusted me. She saw the bond between Adam and me as something natural, something familial. She would often laugh about how close we were, how lucky she was to have both her sister and her husband be so supportive of her. But with each passing day, I could feel the guilt growing inside of me. I knew what I was doing was wrong. I was betraying her trust. I was allowing myself to become something I wasn't, something I didn't want to be. But the more I tried to distance myself from Adam, the harder it became. The feelings inside me grew stronger, and the guilt started to suffocate me. And then it happened. I don't even know how it started. It was a Friday evening, just like any other. Rachel had gone out with some friends for a girls' night, and Adam and I were left alone at the house. We were sitting on the couch, talking about nothing in particular, when suddenly, Adam reached out and touched my arm. It was a simple gesture, innocent enough, but the moment his hand brushed against my skin, something inside me snapped. The emotions I had been suppressing, the longing, the confusion, it all came flooding out. Before I knew what was happening, I kissed him. It wasn't planned, and it wasn't thought out. It just happened in the heat of the moment. And when I pulled away, the shock on his face mirrored my own. I could see the regret in his eyes, the same regret I felt, but neither of us moved. Neither of us spoke. We just sat there, frozen, in that uncomfortable silence. Rachel is going to find out, I whispered, my voice shaking. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have kissed you. Adam stood up quickly, his hands running through his hair. You're right, he said, his voice strained. We've crossed a line. We can't do this. Not like this. The guilt hit me like a wave, crashing over me and leaving me breathless. I had destroyed something beautiful, something that wasn't mine to ruin. And I knew in that moment that I had done something unforgivable. The next day, everything changed. Rachel came home, unaware of the betrayal that had just taken place under her roof. I couldn't look her in the eyes. I couldn't pretend like everything was okay. The weight of my actions was unbearable, and I knew that I couldn't keep living this lie. I had to tell her the truth. But I didn't. I couldn't. I kept it buried, trying to act normal, trying to go about my life as if nothing had happened. But inside, I was a wreck. I felt like I was drowning, and I couldn't escape the suffocating guilt that gripped me. Days turned into weeks, and I could feel the distance between me and my sister growing. She started to notice things, the way I was avoiding her, the tension whenever I was around Adam. It was all starting to unravel, and I knew it was only a matter of time before she figured it out. The worst part wasn't just the guilt. It was seeing her trust me, seeing her believe in me, while I was quietly destroying everything she had worked for. I wasn't just breaking her heart, I was breaking her entire world. One night, after another awkward dinner where I could hardly look at either of them, Rachel confronted me. I could see the pain in her eyes, the hurt that I had caused her without even saying a word. "Lena," she said softly, "is there something going on between you and Adam? You've been distant, and I can feel something's wrong." I felt the tears welling up in my eyes. The words I had been avoiding for so long were finally ready to spill out, but I couldn't bring myself to say them. How could I betray her like that? I did something horrible, I finally choked out. I kissed Adam, and I've been in love with him. I don't know how it happened, and I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Rachel's face went pale, her expression one of disbelief and pain. She didn't say anything at first. She just stared at me, her eyes wide with shock. And then, slowly, she stood up and walked out of the room. I could hear her footsteps fading, and the weight of the silence that followed nearly suffocated me. That night, she didn't come back. She stayed at a friend's house, and I was left alone with the devastation I had caused. I knew I had lost her. I knew I had lost my sister, my best friend, the person I had promised to always protect. And I had destroyed everything. The next few weeks were a blur of empty apologies, painful silence, and countless nights spent in regret. I couldn't undo what I had done. I couldn't fix what was broken. All I could do was wait for the inevitable, the moment when she would never look at me the same way again. Eventually, Rachel came back. But things were different. The bond we had shared, the connection we had built over the years, was broken. There was a wall between us now, a wall I had built with my own selfishness and betrayal. We never really talked about it after that night. She didn't ask about Adam, and I didn't bring him up. But I knew she had forgiven me, at least in some way. She had to, but things would never be the same. The guilt and shame I carried would be with me for the rest of my life. I would never be able to look at her without remembering the damage I had done, the love I had destroyed.